Good morning, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Uh, Thank you so much for joining in something that is super special and new to me, and being there in this journey for you just being there fills up my heart that, okay, I can take the next step and the next step. So thank you so much for coming. Today I'll be taking you on a journey through my author's journey, and then inviting you to a small workshop that I've created. And then at the end, we'll have a live interview, Q&A. And if there's time and if you are available, I can also do a small part of chapter reading from my book. So that's the agenda for today. Um, so, welcome to my author's journey. I had no dreams growing up of becoming an author, but seriously, life started unfolding in such a way that this thing that thought in my head came to life. So, these are all the stories that happened in my life that completely broke me and also made me. So there are these 7 exclusive stories that I'm writing in my book that happened in my life, which let's get into. So the first is the Facebook rejection. So at this stage, I was at the age of 23, like not super mature as well, but not super young also. But I have always been an overachiever. I always got straight A's, the topper in the class, getting achievements, awards, like from all directions. So I never faced like true rejection in life. And if you grow up being super successful like this, rejection, failure, these are alien concepts. So when that happened, something cracked inside my head and I could not figure out what happened. So I applied for an internship. And after going through 4 rounds of internship at Facebook for Oculus, like I wanted to work for their virtual reality internship, I got a rejection. And I was so sure that I'm getting it because I had completed 4 rounds. And that was the first time it hit me super bad. So it was like 2 months I was in bed crying, waking up crying all day, not eating, and crying and sleeping again. So I was sleeping and crying, and this went on for 2 months. And I had no idea what's going on with me. So one day I just decided to go to gym, and one like just running on the tracks, some like I felt nice, so I started doing that. And then I spoke to one of my friend, and she said, why don't you try therapy? There are like 6 free sessions as a student you get at the university, so just go ahead and try. And I had no idea what therapy was, what's counseling, like all those concepts were super new to me. So I created a list of questions and I went to the counselor's office and I was like, okay, these are my problems. Can you fix it? And he said, no, this is not how it works. So I said, how does it work? So he said, we'll talk. Let's just start talking. And I was very skeptical. I was like, this will never work. But what happened was through those sessions, through our conversations, he started asking me questions that became very self-reflective. And I was like, for example, one question was, why do you feel so sad? And I said, like, I want to be the best in the room. That's my like inner drive. And he said, do you want to be best in every room? And that got me to thinking, no, like I cannot be best in every room. So that's a hopeless drive and hopeless achievement to be best in every room. So he said, choose the room that you want to be best in and try to be the best in there. Don't pressurize. So it's conversations like these, questions like these, they changed me. The second story is from my marriage. So I'm from India, and I don't know if you know, we still have caste systems that is very prevalent. So growing up, I thought that grades, being a good girl, having good grades, good job, doing nicely, having achievements is good enough, and that is something that people will see in me. And I've watched stories and movies growing up, but I thought now we have moved on to the futuristic, world where these things don't happen. But when the moment came where my boyfriend and I we told the parents that we want to get married, I got a lot of opposition and rejection. Um, because of things that are basically out of my control. So I don't I don't control where I come from. I don't control where I'm born into. But those things dictated my life's decision of being married to someone that I truly loved. Um, Good news is that I got married. I'm a fighter and I got through, and things are super fine now, and we are all on good page and a big happy family. But that moment in time, it crushed my belief system that um, why did I work so hard? Why was I being such a good girl and crushed all my dreams so that someone would come and like reject me? And I don't want to live somebody else's life. So if that's the case, who am I? And then why? Who is God? Who is religion? Why is all these things in place if they cannot even celebrate love? So that was another thing. Then PhD happened. I was about to end my PhD when the coronavirus pandemic happened, and I could not collect data because the world was shut down. So basically, whatever I proposed to do in my PhD went out of the window, and I wanted to give up. But my friends and family, they were like, "You invested 4 years in it, just somehow go ahead, strive and finish it." And I was like, "Okay, let me." So every single day, waking up and doing things that I didn't wanted to do also completely crushed me. Then, after I got my PhD, the success obviously felt hollow. Nothing made sense. So I went to Aspen. So, because I wanted to live in the mountains for like some time to just think, wait, what is happening with me? Uh, First of all my belief systems were crushed. I didn't realize who am I. Like nothing, the concept that I grew up with didn't hold any water anymore. So I went and I was like, okay, I know how to do research. I'll start researching questions like who am I? Who's God? Why am I here? What's the purpose of life? And I started doing things that my heart set out to. Like in the morning, there was no agenda in Aspen. I was just wake up and move, get out of the house. And I was like, okay, there are the street musicians playing. Let me go and listen to them. Okay, there is this event happening. There's a dog park. So I was just going to different places, getting involved in experiences and reading a lot. Um, so I found a lot of good things. But when I came back, I again got into that rut of achieving. And I got a job at Salesforce. 2 years, everything went well. One fine day, I got a meeting calendar invite on my calendar by my manager, and she said, you have two options. Either take the severance and leave right now, or I'll put you on a 30-day performance improvement plan. So it's basically they were saying I'm not good enough in my job and they want to put me on a trial period where they'll evaluate my work. And I said, no, wait, I'm not leaving. I know I'm a hard worker. I've worked hard all my life. I've not done anything else. So I can prove that to you. So my mentors, they said like, no, if a company gives you an ultimatum like this, they've already made a decision. So do not continue, take the severance and start finding another job. But the fighter in me was like, no, 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 let me try. So I tried. And at the end, they just took away my job. So after I lost my job, um, I went through this biggest phase of identity crisis because um, the labels that are stuck to us are so big, they hold us in a way. So, hi, who am I? I'm Sanika, and I'm a UX designer at Salesforce. So, these two answers go hand in hand. So, when my job went away, I came to this place where I was very I don't know. I could not identify myself. Like, who am I? What am I anymore? So in parties where you go, like the second question, especially in US, they ask is, "What's your name and what do you do?" I didn't had any answer for what do you do. So then the biggest, nicest thing happened was my decision when I went to Turkey for a girls' retreat. And those 17 days when I lived with all these beautiful souls, they saw me for me. Like they said they liked how I made them feel, how I smiled, basically how funny I am. They loved me for just who I am. And that was the first time in 30 years of my life where I realized that I am me and I don't need a label to define me. And everything that I do is a part of me. And this shift in that realization, um, was the first point where I started like, I need to capture this. So this was the beginning of that thought, like, this is so beautiful and I never want to forget. Actually, I came back from Turkey feeling so powerful that I am I am me, and I am born to live this life. And I never felt that before. Um, the second place where my life completely upgraded was the retreat, which was created by my dear friend Sylvia last year in Spain, where I was jobless at that time. I went to this retreat with such an open heart and mind, and this in this retreat I learned a lot about self-care, wellness, and how to become whole. So what happened was Aspen was also a good window where I learned all these things. But when I came back to my world, again went in that rut. But the space in Spain where I went through these workshops and the retreat activities, it gave me a pause to actually implement all these things in my life. So after coming back, I made it a practice, and that's where I got that idea. No, I have too much information now, very difficult to remember on a daily basis. So let me write the book that I want to read. And that's how I started writing the book. Um, so I started in 2023, like just the idea that began. But then, with all the research that I did, I combined science and spirituality to answer these biggest questions. So, what is the biggest question? I want to be happy, I want to be successful, and I never want to go into those dark places that I've been to. How do I do that? So, so those questions became the driving force of let me write it up so that the events that I don't forget, and then also create a lifestyle or framework or something that I can do on a daily basis so that I never forget or go back to the place that I came from. Um, so my book writing journey went on. I initially thought I'll just write it out, print it out, and just keep the PDF like a book in my hands. Then my friend said, like, why don't you self-publish? You can just upload the manuscript on Amazon. But then last year, I wrote a chapter in someone else's book. And through her, I met the publisher. So I shared my story and these things with publisher, and he said, hell yes, like you need to write it for the masses. Like this is something that everyone can relate to at some point in their lives. So I joined I started working with this publisher. So first was I met with the positions architect who created like the architecture of my book, how the layout would be. Then I started writing. I completed the first draft. They're like 75,000 words. And currently, I'm working with the marketer. So, in this phase, I'm crowdfunding so that I can basically raise the $15,000 so that I can fund the second phase of my book. So, the way this publisher works is they let me have 100% IP of the book. So, usually, traditional publishers, they keep a cut of all the revenue that we get, but this publisher is like you keep all the revenue, but upfront we will earn from your crowdfunding. So this money that you generate will help us cover the cost. So it's like a new unique experience. I am not a avid book reader. I like to implement the few books that I read, but this is like such a unique experience I get to share with you because it all started with an idea and a calling and this voice inside my head. And I just kept answering, and right now here I am and hosting this book shower. Um, Also, like I wanted to share this. The book cover that I created is from one of my painting and two dresses that I have, and I really love their patterns. So I just mixed all of them up and created this book cover design. So it's just like so unique and beautiful that I'm doing so many different things as I write my book. And then I hosted the world's first book shower, I like to call, because see, when you have a new thing coming in the world like bride and a baby, the community has accepted so easily that we all need to come together and support this new thing that's coming. But what about businesses and books and ideas and dreams? they are new too. They also are birthed through some thought in the head. Um, and we need support for all these things. And I said, like, let's just throw a book shower. So on Saturday, I threw an in-person book shower. So I wanted to show you a clip. So that was my event, and now I'm hosting this virtual book shower. So before we move into the second segment of this, do we have any questions? Okay. All right. So the second segment of this book, this virtual book shower, is I want to invite you to a new concept that I've built in this book known as core tenets. So four tenets that I've identified. So this workshop is how to invest in your tenet portfolio. So through all my research, learnings, findings, experiences, I asked myself, how do I remember this every single day and live a successful life? I came down to four things that actually matter for people like us, ambitious, multi passionate. Um, So, first is health that combines physical and mental health. Second is relationships. Third is passion. And fourth is material. So, material is everything that helps you sustain a life on earth. It's like your job, uh, paying bills, taxes, administrative tasks. Passion is something that you do solely when no one's watching you, and you do it to fill your heart. And it could be as simple as gardening, as simple as making coffee art, even if it's like tearing paper. If you enjoy it, that's where you get fueled for your life. My book basically start is still in my passion zone because I'm doing it no matter what. Even if like no one joins me on this journey, I am going to go ahead and write this book because that is something that I enjoy doing. Relationships, the way I have these circles is the innermost circle is the relationship that you have with yourself. So, one very beautiful quote that I heard from a fashion designer, Diane von Fosterberg, was the best relationship that you have with yourself is, sorry, the best relationship you have is with yourself. Every other relationship is a plus, not a must. So, and the way we learn from our childhood is through all other relationships that we have. But I think at some point when we break a lot, we realize that the first relationship to build is with the self. So that's the innermost circle. Then comes your closed ones who loves you unconditionally, because that unconditional love has so much power. Then comes your colleagues, your people that you work with, and then comes the world. So that's the level of boundaries that you need to set so that you can live a very conscious and powerful life. So, my session here is about rethinking wealth. We have the society that we live in have very solid knowledge and structure about how to invest and grow your wealth. You have 30-year plans, mortgages, life insurances, investment portfolios. You diversify your assets. You see how it's growing year by year, and you have projection. Everything is so solidified. But is that the wealth? Is that truly the wealth that you want to grow with, grow your life with? The question that I started asking was, what about having a 30-year relationship plan, 30-year health plan, 30-year passion plan? How are we investing in it every single day? Um, So I would like to give you like 1 minute, just 1 minute to think about what is wealth for you and how are you actively investing in growing it. Okay. And also in the Sampada, have you given the worksheets
Yeah,
to?
I've shared the Invest PDF for referring to the workshop activity.
Perfect. So if you want, you can have the worksheet handy for the next question that I'm going to ask is bef okay. So the other concept that I have formulated in my book is we are all stars. Okay. What's a quality of a star? They're born and they die. They have this inherent light that shines. Okay. So we all are also stars. And scientifically, they have traced that the materials and the like the chemicals and the elements that the stars are made up of are also found in our body. So we are fragments of this and this universe that we we live in. So if we are stars, the light inside of us is actually soul. Um, Soul can be defined in many different words in different meanings. What I've also realized is that word and languages is so limiting when it comes to experiences like these. So I would like to call all of us stars, and the light that we have is the soul inside of us, the consciousness, the awareness. And the way we live our life is this is how I have imagined our life that grows eventually. So you start from the bottom, and mostly it starts with a place shadow, like complete darkness. Then through that darkness, you see a spark. Get some ideas, hopes. You move on to that next phase. Then is the shimmer phase when you take some steps, something starts working out, you experiment different things, and you start gaining a lot of momentum. After that, you go to the shine phase, where in shine now you whatever you do gets so much momentum that you start getting success after success and you feel brighter and brighter, and at the end when you do certain things over a period of time, you become a star in that, and you race to the next level. So as you see this circle that goes like this, when you become a star you come to the next level. But I've also realized this important fact that after star, coming back to shadow is inevitable, because that's the phase where you step into the second level of your life. So if you fall into darkness after reaching certain success, it's just the way this whole idea is designed. Because after shadow, again, you'll find new elements, you'll shimmer, you'll start experimenting things will start working, you'll shine, and you become a star on the next level. And this goes on for your entire life, this whole journey. Okay, so that's one concept that I want you to keep in mind. The second concept is rethinking assets in terms of energy, time, and focus. Okay, this is actually where the real wealth lies. So if you want to understand the mysteries of the universe or the entire universe, how it works, there was a scientist known as Nikola Tesla who said that think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So we all are made up of atoms that vibrate at a certain frequency, right? So if we are made up of atoms, my phone, this table, is made up of atoms. The cells inside of us, the neurons inside of us, every single thing is made up of that thing that is vibrating at a certain frequency. Now, if we feel any emotion, any thought, those are also electric impulses that actually flow through the body. So we can also say that those are also vibrating at a certain frequency. So it has found there has been studies, and it has been found that many different emotions uh, lie on a different scale of of vibrating frequency. So when we vibrate at a higher frequency, it means that when we experience positive and very powerful emotions, we vibrate at a very high frequency. And that's the place that we want to be at when we are thinking of investing in our life. And actually, we want to live in that level all the time. So if that is true, energy, and then the second thing is that Einstein equation, like energy is equal to mass. Every single thing in this world is made up of matter, which we see with our eyes and we feel. That matter is also energy. So if that energy is everything around us, the money is also energy. And if money is energy, it is also vibrating at a certain frequency. So you see, everything can be distilled down into energy that is vibrating at a certain frequency. So if we can also vibrate at the same frequency as money and all the other things, we'll be able to invest much better and live a complete and whole life. So what I'm trying to do here is, how would you rethink assets in your life? Everything that you have is energy. The second unlimited thing that we have is time, because we have a very short window to live on earth. Where we live next is that is out of the topic for today, but this earth life is limited, and we want to make sure that it's the most fulfilling experience for us. And the third is our focus, where we focus, where um, so this is a big topic that I cannot cover right now, but in quantum mechanics, it's said that the whole world is basically built up on a quantum field. And the way our atoms are made up of is made up of subatomic particles, which has a very unique quality that when we observe them, they behave differently. And when we don't look at them, they drop. They drop into the field. So it's said that whatever you observe, wherever your focus is, that thing materializes. So if you have this knowledge, you can focus on things that actually matter in your asset building. So with that, I came up with this, how to think of life as an investment portfolio. So your capital actually is your energy, it's not your money. Your return of investment is your fulfillment, because that is the only thing that matters at the very end. For example, when we eat a very lovely dish, that feeling that we have, or when we complete a project, or when we meet someone and make a deal, that money doesn't matter, but that fulfillment is where the actual return of investment lies. Diversification is balance, how you balance it out in all four tenets of your life. And your risk appetite are your values. Where do you what are your boundaries? What would you accept and not accept? And that's very different for all of the people. So, with that, I want to give you another minute to think about, if your life were a portfolio, where are you over invested right now? So, think in your worksheets, you have these four boxes. Look at them, or maybe close your eyes and think of, how do you spend your life in all these different areas, and be honest to yourself. So I give you a minute. Okay. Um, so one beautiful thing that I like to do in this activity is known as death meditation. So in this meditation, you actually close your eyes, you go back to the very last day of your life. You're just imagining it. Now you imagine your very last day of your life. How do you look? How do you feel? Where are you? How are you surrounded? What do you have? Uh, what place do you live in? Like, what are the smells that you smell? And then imagine the best and the most ideal last day of your life on earth. If that is the last day, last moment, how do you want to think and feel? If you want to walk without a cane, if you want to be surrounded by your loved ones, if that is the last day that you imagine, bring that last day to this current moment and see how are you investing in it in right now. So if you want to walk without a cane, you need to have very strong legs. So today you can actually invest in walking at least 2000 steps so that you ensure that you're basically linking every moment to that last day that you imagine, and then make that investment call. If you want to be surrounded by a lot of family and friends, you need to invest in those relationships and actually be present when someone is talking to you. So, this is a very beautiful activity that I do for investing in the current moment. Um, so, there are different, based on these tenets, these are the different types of investment that you can do. Energy capital by resting, nourishing. uh, People like us, I feel the type A people, we are so always in rush to go get the next thing that we feel resting and these qualities of breathing and moving slow is actually bad. But if you think of it as an investment, that rest gives you power to take the next big decision of your life. It then becomes very grounding activity and it gives you also peace. So you can think of relationships as building emotional capital, passion as purpose capital. So the goal of this activity is to bring out that map, and you can see if you're over invested in one. You can then move around some things because this life is actually super big, and if you balance out things, you can we can all achieve a very fulfilled and whole life. Um, so if you had to draw your own 30-day reinvestment plan, and if your energy is your currency, where would you invest differently tomorrow? So I would give you another minute to think about. Pick one tenet that you feel that's undernourished, and then make a commitment today. So um so I want to finish this workshop by this quote. A wise investor doesn't chase every market. They nurture their long-term assets, the one that hold true value. And if you identify that perfectly, uh, at this stage, whichever stage of life you are in, you can have this peace of mind that no matter what's happening, you are doing your best work to ensure that your long-term assets like health, relationships, passion, and material, they flourish and grow over time. And for that, when I was doing this thing for my book and activities for my own life, I said, how do I want to live? And I told myself, I really want to build a network that grows with me, in a sense that we all go through these different life experiences, very different shades of these stars. And how awesome would it be to grow old together? because this is something that I truly imagine, is that on my very last day, I want to be surrounded by a lot of people who love me dearly. And we share that last moment together. I don't know how, but very joyously in a way that we celebrate. And for that, I want to invest in something right now. And that's why I'm doing so much to write this book, to build something. Uh, I don't know if it'll work or not. It's this massive experiment of my life. But that's why I wanted to host this book shower to invite you all early on in my journey. So this is my idea of having a lighthouse where bi-weekly I can meet with people like us. We can put it as a checkpoint throughout the year so that we don't forget how powerful we are. Life moves at such fast pace that we forget that we have such power inside of us. And I truly want to do this. Like every 2 weeks, I hold a space like this where we get grounded, where we learn about a new thing, where we revisits our plan, our investments. When we revisit our promises to make sure that we don't burn out as we chase our dreams and passions. So that's my lighthouse dream. And uh, the other reason that I am hosting this book shower is basically to invite you to join my journey early on. So if you want to read my book, so instead of buying later on, you can actually pre-order it today. So along with the book, you can also get a lot of different things like access to my lighthouse sessions and a lot of many different things. So my vision is, as I create this journey, I don't do it alone. And if I have a group of people, I can share the learnings that I have, the way I write my book, share some chapters, share this. It feels like a mini MBA actually, learning and doing so many things. So I want to share that so that we all grow together. And starting November, I'm starting my lighthouse sessions so that we can meet together and actually do a lot of these activities and invest in our future in the correct way and have that checkpoints. So far, I have 19 people who have backed this journey, and it fills up my heart. It was like I thought that even if it's my husband, I'm fine because I want to bring him together. Like I want to host these things. So that's the vision, and that's the reason I'm writing my book. I want to live a very whole and fulfilled life with people that are so dear and lovely near my heart. So when I went through these different phases of my life, I realized that the most expensive and most valuable tenet is the relationships. And that's where I think I want to focus my life on and surround everything around that. But it can be different for you. So that's where you need to do that self introspection. Um, and that's the end of my workshop. So do you have any questions?
I don't have a question. I just want to say congratulations, Sanika, because this is such a beautiful project. And I'm so happy to see you in this stage right now. I've been seeing you in the other stages that you were commenting to. So I'm so happy, honestly, like so happy to see this happening and it's becoming the reality. So super
Thank
proud of you.
Thank you so much. And I just want to give a special shout out right now to you. Thank you for saving me from the darkest place I was in. So, if you don't know the Turkey retreat that I mentioned in one of my stories, Sylvia was the star who came in my life and she shared her light with me. And that's where so to read the entire story, I would like you to read my book. But a gist of it is that when she was shining in her whole light, she hugged me and she shared that light with me. She gave me that assurity that I am enough and I am worthy of love. I am worthy um, of all the things that I desire in my life. And that feeling that she gave me was enough for me to rise. And I was like, okay, I have it in me. Um, to love myself back again and just to build the life that I dream. So thank you so much. And that is why I'm writing this book, is that we all have that power. We all have that light. And if we can just shine in our own light, we will be spreading it all around us without even recognizing. So that's the intention.
That's so beautiful. That's why I said that I'm so happy to say this, and I really cannot wait to read the entire book. So congratulations, Anika. You are a star.
Thank you. Um, all right, so now we move on to the last segment where Sampada will do a live interview with me, and also this segment will open up to Q&A. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Hi everyone. First of all, very beautiful and uplifting session, and the coordinate framework and the lighthouse concept, it's just so brilliant and unique. Yeah, and I had few questions. What was the most challenging part about writing your book emotionally and creatively?
Um, I am an introvert by heart. Like I'm a very shy person. So this thought of bringing out these very inner stories, like the experiences that I went through on paper, that one day someone else will read. Um, that was very difficult for me to wrap my head around. But then, I did a mental activity with me where I put all the people that I love in a room and I said, only these are the people that are going to read my book. So that gave me a lot of confidence that if I have like people surrounded who love me, I can take the next step. So emotionally, I think that was the most challenging part.
Nice. So, what does dimming your light mean to you, and how does one recognize if that happens to someone?
Um, Dimming my light feels like you are always surrounded by fear. You have a lot of anxiety and doubt. You feel like that guilty feeling that you have when you don't speak up when you need it, or you're not doing what is needed. That is where you are basically shadowing your light. Living your for me, not dimming my light is just doing everything that my heart wants, even though I'm fearful, even though I have those doubts. I'm taking that next step. So that's what I mean by I'm done dimming my light. It means I want to live a life where I just do everything that my heart wants, uh, with a lot of love and passion. Yeah.
Thank you. So, what do you expect readers to take away once they read your book?
Once they read my book, I want to feel them powerful. I want to feel them that they are enough. They have this light inside of them that wants to beam out, and they give themselves permission to actually shine their light. And they know that there is one person on this planet who is living that life, so they can too.
Nice. So, in your journey, how can we support at this point?
Um, just by being there for me, and that is, I mean, I'm so thankful that you're like everyone have joined me on this book shower. At this point, I think this a second support that I would want is the help so that I can actually publish my book. So if you really want to read my book, you can pre-order right now. So that will actually help me fund the cost for publishing and printing.
Nice. So, what is the next step after the book for you? Do you have any retreats planned or experiences or any new exciting projects coming up?
After the book is released, I want to host a lot of like chapter reading sessions. And I'm also planning one virtual retreat where it's a 5-day virtual retreat where we go in each tenet in detail, and then just celebrate the community that came together through this journey.
Nice. Thank you for answering the questions. Um, yeah. If anyone else has any questions, go ahead.
Okay, I think yes.
Hey, Sanika, how are you?
Hi, Rekha, I'm good. Thank you for.
I Yeah, and that's all right. Actually, I just joined in the middle of the session. I'm still in office and I was like, oh my god, it's already 4:30. I need to join this session. So just want to congratulate you for this whole journey. And I'm so happy to see you thriving and achieving what you always wished for.
Thank
Uh, I just wanted to ask, like, are you also publishing the soft version of this book, or it is only the hard copy that will be available now?
Oh, I am launching the ebook as well. So if someone pre-orders, they will receive the ebook even before the book is released, like the hard copy of the book is released. So
Okay,
that's the plan. So I'm also going to do an audiobook, ebook, and the hardcover. Yes.
okay, that's great. And once again, congratulations.
Thank you. So if we don't have any questions, we can yeah, we can wrap up the session. I am so thankful for everyone joining. Um,
Oh,
and
could
yes.
you please do a short section or chapter reading of your book if that's possible?
Oh, okay. Um, sure. I do we have time? Okay, I can quickly go over. Okay. So this is a small section that I want to read from my introduction chapter. Um, the summer of 2021. I had just finished my PhD. Everyone around me thought this was supposed to be the proudest moment of my life. But I didn't feel proud. I felt empty. The world was stuck in the middle of COVID. Everyone was figuring out how to breathe again. I too was trying to breathe, but it wasn't because of the virus. I had spent years performing, striving, achieving. I had checked every box that was ever given to me. And yet here I was, holding my PhD certificate and wondering why it all felt so meaningless. It wasn't just burnout, it was heartbreak. It's hard to explain what I was feeling. Some might call it crisis, and honestly, I don't disagree. My, my downfall didn't start with PhD, it started earlier with my marriage. I'm an Indian girl. I come from a culture where caste still matters. My now husband and I belong from different castes. And because our marriage wasn't arranged, we faced resistance. And that broke me. Not because love didn't win at the end, it did, but I was rejected for something I had no control over. It shattered me. I was an ideal girl growing up, obedient, focused, high achiever. I did everything right. I worked hard, followed the rules. I believed the world was fair, and I had spent my life being a good girl. But slowly, when I found myself coping with failure and rejection, facing societal rejection in marriage, seeing my PhD thrown into uncertainty because of COVID pandemic, and losing my job and paycheck without warning, despite doing everything right, all those rules began to feel like a scam. If they weren't going to protect me, then what's the point of following them? My PhD carried me through those years, just barely. I was burnt out, exhausted from chasing a degree that had started to feel meaningless. My marriage was under strain. My career dreams were slipping away. I didn't recognize the person I was becoming. By the time I graduated, I wasn't celebrating. I was completely lost. Nothing made sense. Not religion, not society, not even my own identity. So I needed answers, not from Google, not from professors, not from self-help books. I needed to look at life, at world, and ask those big questions. So I did something that I'd never done before. I packed up my bags and went to Aspen, Colorado, alone for a month. I lived like a monk in the mountains for a month. I did only thing sorry the I did the only thing I knew how to do. I put on the researcher hat and decided to find answers. Like, who am I? Why am I here? Who is God? What is religion? What's the truth? Why do we suffer? Why are we still divided by made up labels? And what's the point of anything? I didn't know what I was looking for, but I knew I needed space to think, to feel, to just be. And little by little, I started finding the pieces of the soul I had lost. So in Aspen, I didn't had any plans. I followed my instincts. If something called to me, I went. I hiked, I watched the street musicians, I read in my Airbnb, I visited dog parks, I wandered the town. I did everything that sparked curiosity. And slowly I started receiving answers. Not always in words, but in feelings, moments, nudges, experiences, and conversations. One of those moments happened towards the end of my trip. My Airbnb host introduced me to an amazing 63-year-old woman named Robin. She was kind, graceful, full of life. We bonded instantly over our love of skiing, art, beauty, and music. She invited me to Aspen Library, where Tibetan monks were building sand mandala. I walked in, I didn't expect anything major. It was more of like, let's see what's happening in the moment. There were tables set up in the grand hall. One side were monks. They were creating sand mandala out of colored sand while softly chanting. The other side, children were making their own smaller mandalas with guidance of other monks. The room smelled of incense and soft earth. Through the giant glass windows, I could see green, lush mountains and hear the roar of the river outside. I decided to join the kids' table and learn sand art. I didn't know why, but it just felt right. That's when I started talking to a monk. It started light. Where are you from? What brings you here? And then I asked him something deeper. I told him about the questions I came to Aspen with, that I was on a quest. He smiled and introduced me to a senior monk. We stepped outside on the balcony attached to the hall. We sat with a view of the mountains in front of us and the sound of the river below us. I asked him, a saint and a warrior, they seem like opposites. A saint is calm and a warrior fights. Can someone be both? He smiled gently and said, oh no, a saint is a warrior when he fights his inner wars, and a warrior is a saint when he practices mercy. My jaw dropped. That one sentence did something to me, it unlocked something. I was trying to find myself, my identity. And since I'm a multi passionate person, I felt lost every time when someone boxed me with one label. This question was my attempt to understand, can someone be more than one and still be whole? And the answer sent electricity in my brain. We kept talking for a long time about consciousness, about thought, about duality. He told me how quantum physicists often visit their monastery to read ancient texts because their equation only proved maths, whereas the interpretations were still open. I felt like I opened a secret door into the world where science and spirituality weren't in conflict. They were just using different words to explain the same truth. The mandala was complete. The monks began their final prayer and they walked together to a nearby bridge, carrying the sand in vase. The same sand that had been so carefully laid out was now returned to the river. I stood at the edge and watched the colors swirl away in the water. And something inside of me whispered, maybe it's okay that nothing lasts. Maybe that's the point. So I didn't walk away thinking that now I'm going to write a book. That was never the plan. But I gave myself permission to believe in what I was starting to feel, that maybe my questions mattered, that maybe I didn't need answers as much as I needed trust. And the moment became one of the golden clues in the treasure hunt that eventually led me to this book. One of many moments, moments that helped me find myself again, moments that gave me answers I needed to build new beliefs, new frameworks, new way to live. And eventually, when I gathered enough of those treasures, I knew I had to capture them in one place. I didn't set out to write it. It was written into me, one moment at a time. And that's how this book came to life. So that's it.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
All right, then. Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Sanika.
I can't wait to share more with you as I start writing in November, like finalizing the book with all my revisions drafts. So the people that are joining me in this journey, I'll start sending them more chapters so that I can get early feedback and also celebrate the book creation journey. So thank you again for your time, and I'll see you all soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Sun.
Bye. Mm.